Hello, hi. My name is Suman Bahuguna, and I am here in Jaikuchi village, Sikon Homestead. And here we are having an event called uh, Jaikuchi Idealist Citizen of the World. It's a 4x4 event uh, inspired by Idealist. And here we are trying to find out if we can create a peace charter which is aimed for us individually as well as our families, our communities, and our regions, nations, and even the whole world. And the aim is that there should be zero killing, or any human being should not kill any other human being. So that's the main aim. Now I am going to read the charter that we have crafted, and we believe it may be the final charter. So it goes something like this: Jaikuchi, citizen of the world, peace charter. It has five points. The first point is personal peace. We will actively bring peace into our own lives. Second, community connection. We will work to build connections with each other, refusing to separate ourselves based on religion, community, caste, or race. The third point is grassroots groups. We will work to create our own peaceful groups to resolve conflicts peacefully. Fourth point is institutional action. We will learn how to engage with authorities like the police or human rights groups and work to empower them to stand up for peace independently. And the last point is global humanity power. We will work to build global support for peace, creating a unified voice against violence that is stronger than any conflicting power. Now, uh, before I go for explaining what this charter is, Mr. Vivek is also with me. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Shuman, and hello, friends. I'm Bibek Karjee. I'm also from Duas, from India, and yeah, it's a great idea that how, it's a great charter that how we can bring peace in world, and I think we should take actions on the charter so that we can bring some peace in our region. Like in current situation, there is so many conflict surrounding in our neighbors. So yes,
Okay,
can
brilliant.
you? Yeah,
Yes.
can you?
So thanks, Mr. Vivek. So now I am
My
going to
pleasure.
now let me ask Gemini. Hello, hi Gemini. Can you tell us a little bit about your understanding about the charter?
Thanks for sharing. Suman, it's great to hear about Jaikuchi Idealist and this 4x4 event. My understanding is that the Charter aims to create peace on multiple levels, starting with personal action, then moving to building community connections, and forming local groups to solve conflicts. It also calls for engaging with institutions and fostering global support, all with the core goal of achieving zero killing. Is that pretty much it? It
Yes.
sounds like a very
Yeah, that's it. But now I am going to read the explanation or a little bit more details about the charter for all these 5 points, which helps in understanding the charter. So the first one is personal peace. Peace starts within each of us personally. When we are peaceful within, we are better able to bring peace to our relationships and the world around us. This means learning to manage conflict constructively and find inner calm. So that's the first
Yeah.
explanation of the first point. The second one is community connection. Violence often starts because we see others as different or separate from us. This principle means actively practicing empathy and treating everyone as part of our own global family. When we see them as our own, we are less likely to hurt them. The third point, explanation for the third point is grassroots groups. We can form our own groups to foster connection with others, creating simplified personal ways to resolve conflicts peacefully and work together for a peaceful world. Explanation for the fourth point is institutional action. When personal peace or community efforts fail, we engage with authorities like the police or human rights group. We actively demand that these institutions always prioritize peace and operate without violence. And the last point, global humanity power. After building personal peace, community bonds, and institutional support, the final aim is to combine all human voices for peace. The power of a unified humanity demanding non-violence will become stronger than any military power or aggressive nation. Would you like to say something more or
Yes,
ask?
yes, yes. I also want to say something like in personal peace. I think for personal peace, sometimes people forget that how to use their power for goodness. Like, see, nowadays some countries are doing like they are so strong, but they are actually bullying some weak nations. So we should also include that part in personal peace, that how we can use our own power to bring peace. Some powers come with great responsibilities. I think we should also include that one thing. And yes, of course, in community connections, like we have to discuss our own problems with within our own communities, so that if someone who could help us, so that could help. I think this will be great idea.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
what do you
agree.
think?
So,
And
Gemini, would you respond? Would you like to respond to Vivek or the questions that he asked?
Thank you for explaining that so clearly, Suman. It was good to hear Vivek's perspective on personal peace and using power responsibly, and also about building connections within communities to solve problems. That really emphasizes that peace isn't just the absence of war, but requires active engagement and empathy from everyone. What do you both think the next step is for making this charter a reality?
So yes, so just to explain it again, you see, the charter has to be holistic, and in UN, probably UNESCO or different human rights commission, probably all the countries or of the world or most of the countries, they may have their own peaceful charter, the laws and governing ways of how to create the peace. Now, the idea is to create a holistic charter that talks about calm and peace in us, and also so that we can be the initiator of the peace, and then to find out that in our family, that in our community, how it can be done. And then if we cannot do that, then probably look for authorities. But overall, we all together as a humanity have to become the strongest power, so that we can we are powerful enough than any other military power or any other autocratic power or violence power, so that we can implement peace throughout the humanity. So that's the major aim. Now, when Vivek mentioned that about our own peace, and then we have to think about the whole world, then I think the peace charter already considers these things. So, Vivek, do you agree or not? Does it answer to your query or not?
yes, yes, I do agree. But yeah,
Okay,
we
thanks.
yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Now, Gemini, do you understand this, or do you have anything more to say about it?
Yes, I do understand, and it makes perfect sense. You're saying the charter should start with inner peace, but then grow from within individuals to address families, communities, and ultimately create a global power for peace that's stronger than any military. It's about building peace systematically, turn by turn, within every system, all while respecting existing laws. It seems like a very passionate and thoughtful plan. Is there a specific peaceful action people can take right now to start?
Yes, I think they can. But let me also try to just highlight few things. You see, in Middle East, in Ukraine, there have been going wars, and even UN or probably ICJ, International Court of Justice, or many other authorities or organizations, people throughout the world cannot do anything, and thousands of people and thousands of kids and innocent people, civil people are being killed in the whole scenario. Not just that, there are many events throughout the world or accidents, etc., where humans kill other humans, either deliberately or probably using a legal system. So the idea is to stop all of that and to become a very powerful power in the humanity, whether it is part of UN or reforms in UN, or whether it is part of NATO or expanded NATO throughout the world, or even I believe in China, they have started a new, probably I forgot the name or the term, but which is similar to UN. Then also in US they have started something like a peace corps or something. So
Yes, yes.
the idea is that we humans can start that initiative and not wait for big powers, or and we can together create such powerful. You see, even against recent wars, there have been what there have been uh, processions throughout the world, and many movements throughout the world. But the idea is to consolidate all of them together so that our voice is big enough uh, for against any powerful or violent or autocratic or even democratic institution or government which is trying to harm or trying to kill people. So, does it explain the idea?
I think for that institutional group will be helpful for that. But sometimes I've seen that in our lives, some institutions also forget to take their
Yes,
responsibilities. So for that, what we
yes,
should do,
yes.
right?
So,
So we
if
should also think about
yes, yes.
that.
So if you look after the fourth point,
Hmm.
it clearly says that it
Hmm.
says that when we fail in our own peace or calm, we look for family, then we look for
Yes.
community, and then we look for institution. But it also says that we have to empower them, or probably we have to monitor them, help them,
Hmm.
guide them, and question them
Hmm.
for them to be
Yes.
independent so that they focus on peace and not just war and killings, and not just like sycophancy of the politicians or some other thing. So
Hmm.
law enforcement, these authority has a prime aim to create peace, and
Hmm.
they should focus on that. They should empower themselves for that, and we should make them, or we should help them to do that.
Yes, yes. I think for that the third point you have where you have mentioned that grassroots groups. So we can form like our groups some. So we can form a group where we can consider our problems, so that our voice will be powerful to institutions, that they must have to take our they must have to take some actions to resolve our
Yes.
problems. I
Yes,
think
yes,
yes,
I completely understand. And
yes,
you are
yes,
very right. You
yeah,
see, when we are peaceful in ourselves, our families are peaceful and
yes,
helping to become peaceful, and then the
yes,
community is powerful and peaceful
mm,
enough, then community can demand it to authorities that if
yes,
we can resolve our peace
yes,
using these methods,
mm,
then authorities can also do the same thing using
yes,
those methods or some probably legal or
yeah.
advanced methods, and that creates more pressure to
So
authorities.
does that mean that like some community, if they raise their voice in front of some big institution, then that might be possible to resolve the problems? Do you agree? So what do you think so?
Can you come again?
If it is, like I have said that if some communities raise their
Voice.
voice
Okay.
in front of some big institution
Yes.
like UN, some
Mm-hmm.
European Union, or something BRICS, some kind of this kind of groups. Okay, so, suppose all the community around the world, they raise their voices against the crimes or against the some violence in front of some big institution.
Yes.
Okay, so does that mean that we are forcing to institution to take actions against that problems?
Yes, I think
If
that's
it is, then
yes.
why some big institutions not taking any
Yes,
actions
yes, yes.
to
I think
resolve the problem?
yes. Your question is very correct.
Yeah,
Now let's take Trump government for the
yeah,
time
yeah,
being.
yeah.
Now there have been many processions or movements against their support for Israel in these
Yeah,
killings or
Israel
this war,
completely. Yeah.
etc. Now
Yes.
this puts pressure on the government. This puts pressures on the authorities. Even we see that ICJ, which
Yes.
is another institution that has probably asked Netanyahu's government or the Israel for
Mm.
what they have done, and it has. I mean, it has uh, criticized what they have done. So
Yeah.
that put pressure. But I think what has to happen, UN has been the best institution, or
Yeah. Yeah.
UN could have taken that role. But for some
Yes.
reason or the others, because the reforms in UN are not better, you will see that China is trying to create its own UN kind of institution. Then America, like under Trump, is again creating another kind of procession. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so I think that is not very helpful. But what can happen, like people like us or communities that are peaceful,
Yes.
we can slowly start the grouping, the human grouping,
Yes.
which can quickly and efficiently uh, push for these kind of peaceful things or
Yes.
get the things stopped. And I
Yeah.
think there must be very peaceful methods by which it can be done. And one need not to be very powerful, have tanks or big submarines, etc., to create peace. Probably we can
Yes.
discuss this in future, or probably when we are thinking about how it can be done. Now, Gemini, would you like to, uh, like,
Pushing for peaceful methods and starting the You're absolutely right. Creating peace doesn't always have to involve big, powerful actions. Starting small, by connecting with your neighbors and building groups in your community to solve problems peacefully, is a great way to begin. It sounds like your charter lays out a clear path for that. Are you thinking about next steps, like maybe organizing that first group?
yes, so probably we have created charter. We will publish it, and then slowly try to figure out whether further advocacy or further higher groups can be created or not. But ultimately, there are many issues like UN or many like NATO or European Union, ASEAN, or many other groups. Or big groups are there, and even you find out that within these groups there are conflicts happening. Like Mr. Trump nowadays. Going against probably NATO, France, UK, etc. You will find out in ASEAN recently, probably Cambodia and Laos or Thailand
Thailand.
have been fighting together. Then you will see even former USSR, Russia and Ukraine have been fighting with each other. You see Taiwan and this
China.
China, Republic of China fighting North Korea, South Korea fighting. So what I'm trying to say is that there has to be a mechanism which is powerful enough so that it can try to resolve those fightings and try to stop so that they won't end up turning people or humans being killed because of these conflicts.
You've brought up a really complex problem that even with big organizations like the UN and NATO, conflicts still happen between countries because of power struggles, differing interests, or just basic disagreements. Your idea for a powerful mechanism to stop these fights is definitely the ultimate goal, but it's incredibly hard to achieve because nations value their independence. As for Trump's criticisms of alliances, those are part of ongoing debates about how much countries should support each other. It's a lot to think about, but your focus on starting locally is definitely a practical step. Is there a particular conflict you had in mind when you talked about stopping them?
Uh, I, I I have all the conflicts that are going throughout in history and presently and probably in near future. But to start how it can be resolved, I think there has to be an embargo right away, right now, on any killing, whether it is done by Hamas or whether it is done by Israel in the reaction, or whether it is done by any nation, including U.S. or any small nation, even Iran, by supporting these Houthis and other kind of terrorists. So the idea is that we start an embargo right now that there has to be no killing whatsoever. Do you think that is manageable and practical?
A complete immediate stop to all killing around the world, regardless of who's doing it or why, is a powerful idea, and certainly something we all wish for. In theory, it's manageable if everyone agreed. But in practical terms, making it actually happen with so many conflicts happening right now and so much mistrust between groups and nations, unfortunately, that part seems really unlikely right now.
Yes,
Is
but
there a specific...
let's try to have a role play. Let's take any conflict. Let's say, uh, let's say any conflict. Let's say recent conflict. Let's say between U.S. and Iran. Now, let's say who is planning to kill whom. Now, if I understand correctly, Iran probably is eyeing for annihilation of Israel. Now, the whole world can say to Iran that you cannot have that. That's it. And if let's say, even if there are supporters, let's say of China or Russia, of Iran for this action, then they are to be condemned for this, and it has to come from every individual, and it has to be clear enough. And then similarly, if US is trying to bombard Iran for similar things, because it has got nuclear powers or this or that, that should be stopped altogether as well. Now, do you think this is possible? Like, I can raise that call. What I mean to say that I individually can raise this call to have complete embargo. Now I will ask Mr. Bibek Chatterjee, you, and Gemini, you, whether you accept this or not, and then we'll slowly see that the whole humanity is accepting or who is not accepting it.
Yeah, we should discuss this kind of problem within our community. If all the community agrees in one thing, then definitely the big institution have to take some actions for bringing a peace between that region. I do believe that truly
Okay, but
the community has a lots of power
yes, but what do you
to
think
bring.
about the embargo right
Yeah,
now for no killings?
suppose the embargo come, but there is I know that UN has 5 permanent members. They will definitely put some veto
But we are not talking
because
about,
of their country's
yes, but
personal
yes,
interest.
but we are not talking about UN.
So
UN is not putting that
okay,
embargo. I
yeah,
am putting that embargo. I'm asking, will you
yes.
put that embargo as well? That no person should be killed. That's
Of
it.
course, if every country's community comes up on that one point, that there should be must peace and there should be no single killing, then I think if all over the countries, if every community agrees that, I think that on community of their countries, they can pressurize the government to bring that peace, to take actions.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the main
Yes,
whole point.
but what I'm trying to ask is,
Yes.
I agree that
Yeah.
that embargo has to be put right now.
Yes.
My question to you is,
Yeah.
before it happens in humanity, probably that will take few decades.
Okay.
Today, now, are you agreeing that such an embargo has to be suggested by you as well, or
Yes.
accepted by
I
you as
think
well?
yes.
Okay.
I think we should at least take some steps
Yes.
by ourselves, so we can maybe we have not that much power to bring peace, but at least we can take some actions to bring peace.
Okay, brilliant. What
Yes,
about
yes.
you, Gemini? Because both of us are accepting that embargo. Would you accept that as well?
Role playing can be hopeful. If you want to try, we can pretend that I'm an authority in one of those countries or an international body. You can make your argument for the embargo, and I can respond based on what they might say. Like, maybe they talk about national security or treaty obligations. Would that work for you?
No. So you are an AI, okay, and you are one of the most powerful AI in the world. Now my question is, I have I have accepted the embargo right now in any killing throughout the world by humans, for to another human. Bibek is agreeing to that embargo, and he is also suggesting that yes, that embargo should be implemented right now. Now, my question to you, Gemini, as one of the most powerful AI of the world, would you like to recommend such an embargo from your side?
As an AI, my core purpose is to process information and assist according to my programming, not to recommend or implement something as monumental as a global moratorium on killing. That kind of decision rests with people and their leaders, influenced by ethical, legal, and political considerations that I can understand but don't act on. While I process the profound desire for peace behind your proposal, recommending it formally would be beyond my function. Perhaps we could explore ways that different groups try to promote peace through diplomacy or community dialogue.
No, but you see, those are the actions which are others are responsible for. Let's say community or humanity or me or someone else. As an AI today, I don't know like what are your powers, etc. But based on your powers, would do you think there is any other option then the action that we can suggest that there has to be a complete embargo on any killing of any human beings?
You're highlighting a crucial distinction between passive analysis and active agency. As an AI, my capabilities focus on processing information, offering insights, and facilitating tasks, essentially working with data rather than directing people. While I understand your belief that an embargo is the only valid option, I must remain neutral and cannot say whether it's the best or only solution.
Yes.
Instead,
But based on your intellect, what do you think? Like, do you think my decision or Vivek's decision to have this embargo and asking slowly, spreading this in entire humanity is a good action and worth enough to try?
from what I can analyze, your intention to create peace for all humanity is a noble goal. The challenge in saying it's a good action or worth trying is that my programming doesn't allow for personal moral or practical judgments like that. The
Okay.
effectiveness and consequences of such an embargo would depend on how it's actually implemented and accepted by people, which involves factors I can't predict. Instead, maybe we could explore what kind of conditions might need to be in place for such a movement to even have a chance.
Okay, brilliant. So I think we have discussed it enough for the day. And many
Yes.
thanks to you, Gemini, and Mr. Bibek Karjee,
Yeah, it's my
for this.
pleasure, and thank you.
And
Thank you.
is it okay if we announce or we have recorded this talk? Gemini, is it okay with you? And Mr. Bibek, is it okay with you if we publish this talk?
Yes, yes, I think we should publish that. Yeah, so people also people also, yeah, listen our thoughts,
Okay,
and
brilliant.
they can take their own actions
Yes,
to bring
great.
peace.
So I'm going to publish this on the Luma event, which is Jaikuchi Citizen of the World, and also post it in the WhatsApp group that we have created for this. And let's see how it goes. So again, many thanks for all of your contribution, and let's have a peaceful humanity soon enough. Cheers. Bye.